On December 6, 2007, Goichi Suda, better known as Suda51, released No More Heroes in Japan on the Wii. The following month, it would be released in North America, and in the next few months, everywhere else. It was a critical and commercial success, at least in the West. Then, in 2010, Suda and his team at Grasshopper Manufacture released a sequel, No More Heroes 2: Desperate Struggle. That year also gave us Heroes Paradise, a port of the first game for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation. In 2012, a mobile phone game got released.
In Japan.
Then after that, the series went dormant for a bit, and around that time, a teenage Anthem discovered the series and fell in love with the first game and Travis Touchdown.
Wow! He's literally me!
After becoming a fan, I pondered along with my other fellow fans on when the next game will come out. January 2017, Suda teases a new project of Travis Touchdown. August 2017, Travis Strikes Again is announced in a Nintendo Direct and more details surface at PAX West. January 2019, Travis Strikes Again is released on the Switch. Critics were mixed on it, but to us fans, we loved it. At the end of the game was a teaser for a real sequel. All Travis Strikes Again had to do was sell well. June 11, 2019, E3 2019. No More Heroes 3 is announced, and it was a great day to be a No More Heroes fan.
Travis! Oh, wait! Oh, shit! Oh! It's the boy! He's here! Oh my god, there he is! That's my man, Travis Touchdown.
Yeah! I know. Let's get it.
For many of us, Nintendo won that E3.
That's Nintendo won. Nintendo fucking won.
December 12th, 2019 Game Awards. We get another No More Heroes 3 trailer introducing the new villain, Boo. We were also told it would come out in 2020.
Good luck.
June 23rd, 2020, New Game Plus Expo. Suda51 talks about stuff and hey, get your head out of the way, Suda, you're hiding something! September 9th, 2020, it was announced that the game is delayed for 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. October 3rd, 2020, we don't talk about that. October 28th, 2020, more No More Heroes 3 footage is revealed, and we even get Switch ports of No More Heroes 1 and 2. February 17th, 2021, we get a release date. April 8th, 2021, Suda goes on a live stream of some guy and a VTuber. June 15th, 2021, E3 2021. Nintendo's E3 presentation livestream ends and they upload a video of them playing the game. Time went on and kept going and stuff was getting shown to us like bosses and locations. And then, August 27th, 2021, the game came out.
If you can't already tell, No More Heroes 3 was one of my most hyped games for the past couple of years. There were some things I liked about it, and some things I didn't like about it. But first, the greetings. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthem of Sirens, and welcome to my No More Heroes 3 review. After so much friggin' time of doing things that were not making this video, I bring the definitive No More Heroes 3 review. This is the best review and analysis of No More Heroes 3 you will ever see. What's that? Some guy named Gerald Pez Dispenser made a more analytical video? Never heard of him! I know I briefly tweeted about my general thoughts on this game, but I figured a proper review would do it justice. And also I wanted to follow up on my more personal thoughts on the series that I never touched on in my retrospective video. So, with that all in mind, buckle your seatbelts and grab a snack, get comfy, and I'll tell you my thoughts on No More Heroes 3.
Here we go.
I think we should start with the presentation of the game, because as my old man once said, first impressions are everything. Graphically, the game looks pretty nice when it's running well. Like, if you pause the game at a certain time, like a freeze frame, it looks nice. It's got a cel shading look going for it, making it look like a comic book, which is neat. As for performance, well, it's not the best. When you are wandering and exploring the open world, the frame rate is really low, and objects just sort of pop in. This can be really frustrating as one of the game's activities require you to look for things in the outside world. And looking for things can really be a hassle because of this. Even some of the volunteer missions, they run kinda slow, at least compared to other parts of the game. Heck, the lawn mowing minigame literally takes place in the same map as the overworld, just with grass added on a lawn. However, during the combat sections of the game and just walking around indoor buildings with the exception of your motel room, the frame rate is running at a smooth 60 frames per second, and the game looks gorgeous in these moments. Cutscenes, sadly, are not perfect either, as I noticed that some textures just pop in and out, and at one point a model straight up disappeared one time. Speaking of textures, there are a few grainy pixelated textures here and there.
Personally for me, this never really distracted from the experience overall. The game did receive an update for better performance and to fix some glitches, but quite frankly, I never noticed a big difference apart from Batman's mouth disappearing once in an intro cutscene. Also, before the update came, the game crashed twice on me when I was exploring the open world. I'm just gonna blame Nintendo, because the Switch is a pretty underpowered console, and No More Heroes 3 is exclusive to the Switch at the time this was written, and it can't really use the full potential of the Unreal Engine 5. It's understandable that the performance and graphics are not the best. I mean, if it ever gets ported over to Xbox and PlayStation, I'm pretty sure it would look the same. Excuse me, I'm gonna go change my pants.
But enough performance, let's discuss something else. The game's style. No More Heroes 3 has an absolute abundance of style going for it. It's really hard to pinpoint what its main one is because at times it changes. Sometimes you'll get a grungy, laid-back punk-like feel when exploring indoor areas. Sometimes you'll feel a nice sunny warmth in areas like Perfect World or Neo Brazil. And then you get an epic mecha anime space fight style during the mech fights in space. Heck, even the menus are pretty stylized, looking like a retro video game. The pause menu being a retro computer and the options menu being a CRT TV. Speaking of retro gaming aesthetics, each time you beat a boss, the game shows the rankings in an arcade leaderboard fashion. Pretty traditional considering they do that to No More Heroes 1 and 2. Also, every time you interact with an object, you are assaulted with a series of text in various languages to press A, like what you're about to do is absolutely vital and necessary. What's even more is that the game tries to act like it's an anime series of sort. Like when you beat the first boss, you are shown an intro the game sets up, narrated like the first episode to a show. To elaborate further, every time you beat a boss, you are shown a credits sequence stylized to be a retro anime, and an ending card of chibi characters on it. You also get a parody of the Netflix ending thing where they begin to autoplay the next episode. You can't skip this portion, but it's really short, so no biggie and whining about it. Also at the start of each chapter, you are played a retro anime style intro of credits and silhouettes of the characters before showing the title of the chapter in various languages.
All in all, the game's style really does feel more akin to a retro superhero anime or TV show of sorts. And speaking of art direction, one of the leading artists held a gallery opening for the art of No More Heroes. I unfortunately didn't go, but it would have been really nice to see it in person.
The soundtrack is worth noting as well. The songs cover a different variety of genres so they can set the appropriate mood. In Bishop's Shop, along with the Takashi Miike podcast, you get a chill, electric guitar, alt-rock vibe. The motel theme is a nice, relaxing breakaway from the action, making you feel at home and cozy. The boss themes, as well as the fight themes in general, also go really hard. They do a great job at making you feel like you're in a fight. I wasn't too keen on some of them, like Gold Joe's theme for some reason. It just felt like something that would appear in a first level of a video game, but that is just my opinion. Kimmy's is alright, but it wasn't my favorite. Personally, my favorite boss themes were Mr. Black Hole, Sonic Juice, Midori Kawa, and Fu's First Phase. Plus, when you are exploring Santa Destroy, the music changes when you are off and on your bike. When you are off your bike, the music is more quiet and chill. But on your bike, it's more upbeat.
Some of the best songs in the game's soundtrack, at least in my opinion, happen to be the tutorial song, Midori's fight song, the song that plays when playing with Jean, the Perfect World bike theme, and the song that plays during the sushi stand. I mean, that last song I mentioned earlier has absolutely no right to go this hard, but it did anyway. I mean, check this out!
The soundtrack was composed by Nobuaki Kaneko, the drummer of the Japanese band Rise. I never heard of this band, but after listening to a little bit of their stuff, they're pretty good. Doing the soundtrack for this game caused him to form his own band, Red Orca, which some of the game's tracks are alternate instrumental versions of songs from their debut album, Wild Tokyo. Check it out sometime, it's great. Also, a rapper known as Mibi has contributed to the soundtrack with the Sushi Shop song.
So the game looks nice, but it really doesn't run that well on the Nintendo Switch, especially during the overworld segments. But it's a pretty stylish looking game overall. But how does it play, you may ask? Well, we'll find out after this transition. To put it bluntly, No More Heroes 3 is somewhat of a return to the traditional No More Heroes gameplay formula. Do side jobs, kill some enemies, and fight bosses.
The most notable feature returning, of course, is the side jobs, or as they are known in the game as volunteer missions. Essentially, they are a return to the side jobs from No More Heroes 1 and 2, especially the famous lawn mowing minigame, we all love that. The side jobs in this game are actually really fun. They range from conventional, blatant community service, alligator! Dangerous to super dangerous.
Actually, come to think of it, they really upped the ante on them. I mean, who else could say they went to work cleaning up someplace only to wrestle an alligator on the job, besides your average Florida resident? My favorite is probably the bike missions. They're fast-paced, tense when trying to get better ranks, but a little bit frustrating as I ran into walls via turning too hard and running into civilian cars when you slow down.
To be fair, I actually played nearly all the side jobs on every playthrough. Sure, I had my favorites, but they were all enjoyable, albeit 2 of them were a bit stressful. The 2 stressful ones were the mining level because you have to platform your way around some of the area, and the beach defender missions because something about giant alligators walking towards you while dramatic music plays just makes you feel like alligators will wipe out all of humanity.
What's even great about these is that they really improve the way you start them. You drive to a location, start the job, do it, and then get the option to start the next level of the job without having to start over from level 1. I bring this up because in my No More Heroes retrospective video, I really had a problem with how you start the side jobs as they take a lot of time to start them. No More Heroes 2 improved this issue slightly, but the jobs weren't as fun and you had to always start at level 1 of the job. No More Heroes 3 is a big step up from how you do the side jobs, and I applaud it greatly for that. I'm not gonna clap because I'm holding the microphone. You also have volunteer missions that require you to explore the open world instead of just making one stop to a location. Granted, you still have to talk to someone to do them and come back to them to earn a reward. It's not bad, in fact, I kinda like it because you are essentially exploring the open world more and it gives you stuff to do. You get jobs like collecting scorpions for ramen, destroy Easter Island heads, plant trees for WESN, find Deathman cards, and Doppelganger from Travis Strikes Again.
Oh yeah!
Those volunteer missions where you are exploring the open world make the world in this game a lot better. Sure, it's not as interactive or deep as some games are, but it makes you explore every nook and cranny to find items needed for the volunteer missions.
Speaking of open world, it has changed a lot in this game. Not only do you get to explore Sand and Destroy, but you get to explore other areas that surround it as well. There is Perfect World, a suburbia city, Call of Battle, a wasteland battlefield filled with a whole lot of war cliches, Thunderdome, literally desert with a city in the middle, and Neo Brazil. This one's actually kind of boring.
Also, if you run too far from your bike, you can just teleport your bike to you, but oftentimes I realize I'm a little close and I'm too lazy to run to it. These locations provide a lot of atmosphere to them and are pretty nice. What's even more neat is that they have porta potties that serve as save points, meaning no more going back to the motel for a nice save. I can just save on one of these bad boys instead, and get a quick glimpse of Travis' ass cheeks sometimes. Also, to buy t-shirts, friendly aliens that sell t-shirts are scattered everywhere. Some require you to pay money, others require you to do certain tasks to get shirts. You also get shirts of bosses you beat. Gotta represent Vanishing Point.
It's not a perfect world per se. You still have NPCs that don't do anything, and when you run into them, they just stumble and scream, unlike No More Heroes 1, where you can mess with their walking pattern and make them shake in silence. Also, the open world is weighed down by the graphical problems of the Switch, and you can't navigate certain objects. Like, you can clearly jump over some things, but not everything. Heck, one time I got stuck and had to reload a save to get out. Despite its flaws, No More Heroes 3 has the best open world in the series. It's not one of gaming's greatest, but it's a huge step up.
Now, I know what you're thinking right now.
But Anthem, what about the combat? That's practically one of the staples and drawing appeals of No More Heroes.
You want to talk combat? Let's do it! Let's talk combat. The combat has changed in many aspects. It takes the Travis Strikes Again form with your heavy and light attack and recharge, but you also have the Death Glove returning as well. The Death Glove in No More Heroes 3 allows you to use special moves that help you during fights. Sometimes these abilities can be really broken and almost make some fights easier than they should be, especially with the Screw Crusher Death Kick ability, which is just a straight up screw you move. I love it.
Screw Crusher Death Kick!
Along with special abilities, you can create chips that give Travis certain stats to help him in combat and explore the open world itself. You also have Dark Step mode, which is an ability that makes everything slow motion except for Travis, which can allow you to give a ton of extra hits on an enemy. All you need to do is dodge at the right time, and then if it's successful, go crazy.
You can also perform wrestling moves on enemies while they are stunned enough, or you can go from behind for a nice suplex. You guys are gonna laugh at me for this, and you have every right to, but I never realized you could perform wrestling moves from behind an enemy until at the end of my second playthrough.
Oh, and you can also charge your weapon while moving. It's a small but really great addition. Now you don't have to stand still while charging. The slash reel returns give you broken power-ups at random along with the Kamen Rider mech suit, the latter of which you get two versions of, the red version and the green version. The red version annihilates everyone on screen with missiles, while the green version is a more free-roaming version that gives Travis more attack power and quicker movement, along with powerful missiles and a big stab attack.
Sorry!
Every time you die, you also have a chance with the roulette reel. This can give Travis an advantage when he re-enters a battle, or on higher difficulties, give him complete disadvantages or nothing at all. It's an okay feature, but very useless on spicy difficulty. Outside the on-foot combat sections, you also have battles that take place in space, which are carried out via the mech suit. They are basically third-person bullet hell shooters, and while I do personally prefer the on-foot combat fights compared to these, they are still nice, and they keep the game less repetitive. Along with combat mechanics, you have the mechanic of sushi, which can aid you in combat. You have your on-the-go sushi, which you can consume while in combat, or the eat-in sushi, which gives you an upper hand when you start the battle. In the normal difficulty, you get 5 sushi slots for each kind of sushi, but on higher difficulties, you get only 1 for each sushi. It's a nice mechanic, honestly, which can help you in battle, and each type of sushi can aid you by refilling your health bar, your battery, your intensity, and your Death Glove chips. The enemies you fight besides the bosses are more diverse compared to the original games. In No More Heroes 1, they were just a bunch of generic goons in costumes. No More Heroes 2 had the same suited guys but with a different weight. And Travis Strikes Again actually had a wide variety of enemies. The enemies in No More Heroes 3 actually have some strategy to them, and have their own ways of attacking Travis. Some are easy, some are hard. Each time you are introduced to one, you get a brief description of them and a good strategy on how to defeat them, along with their names. Wait a minute, is that diversity?
What the hell? You made it political!
Going away from combat, you'll also have access to Naomi's lab, which is just underneath the No More Heroes motel. You have your upgrades, your pickup sushi, a tutorial room to master mechanics properly or learn more, and you have a time machine to refight bosses to gain materials to build better chips.
Upgrading your stats no longer requires you to play a minigame. It only costs you some money. It removes the risk and reward minigames from No More Heroes 1 and 2, so depending on how you like to upgrade your stats, this might either be a good or bad thing. Personally, I had no strong feelings towards either, but I'll take it any day over the training minigames in No More Heroes 2.
You also have a gacha room which can be unlocked after doing a side mission. I spent a little too much time in this area. One thing I'd like to touch on is how they changed the way you start the main ranking battles. In the first game, you had to go through waves of goons after starting a ranked battle so you can get to the boss. This did not carry on to No More Heroes 3. At the start of every chapter, you are given designated ranking matches, which is just going over to certain locations and fighting a few enemies in a separate area. You have to do a few of them, but they lay out more than what is required to enter the next battle.
Personally, I'm not really a fan of this, because I always like the way of starting the ranking battles and fighting off waves of goons before approaching the boss. Hell, you can get a toilet to save and a refill in battery and health before fighting the boss. But in No More Heroes 3, after you pay the fee, you immediately get sent to the entrance to fight the boss, a toilet, and the sushi stand.
Overall, the gameplay is a lot better than before, and is one of the biggest strengths of No More Heroes 3. My only complaint is that it's a little too easy to earn money, and you will only be going after the purple money for grinding stats and playing gacha. Now with gameplay out of the way, let's talk about the story, which is where a lot of my complaints come from.
And And now it's time to talk about the story, because I do have some gripes with it. However, I'm just gonna say this right now, from here on out, I'm gonna be spoiling not just the story to No More Heroes 3, but also the No More Heroes series as a whole. So if you still haven't played the games, which why the hell haven't you at this point, feel free to exit this video because we're going to be doing spoilers ahoy. I'm going to be going over the story and critiquing it along the way while also comparing it to previous No More Heroes games. Also, I will discuss the bosses as well, since there are some twists to some of these. Why am I doing this? Well, to be honest, I kind of think the best way to critique this story is to tell you about it from beginning to end. So with that being out of the way, let's begin.
No More Heroes 3 starts with Travis talking about his favorite childhood game, Deathman, an in-game game that stars a man trying to stop aliens from taking over the world, and Travis doesn't remember how it ends. I wonder if that will play any significance. We then have a flashback to a random kid named Damon, whose entire flashback is being animated like a Studio Ghibli movie. Damon wants to be an astronaut or a rocket scientist when he grows up, so he takes joy in launching little toy rockets up into the sky. Eventually, he finds a creator of an alien who he nicknames Fu, real name being Jess Baptiste III, and essentially reenact the plot to E.T., Alf, Mac and Me, Aliens in the Attic, or whatever nostalgic alien movie you can think of that you believe is a better reference. But before Fu leaves, he tells Damon,
"In 20 years, I will return."
You really mean it, Fu? Promise?
Damon, I will return. No matter what. Promise.
20 years later, Damon is not a spaceman, but a CEO of a company, and Fu comes back with some friends to say, yeah, I'm a villain and I'm taking this planet over, and ironically calling himself a
goddamn superhero.
Thank you, Fu. We then cut to a slummed out Travis who just moved permanently into the No More Heroes motel along with Bad Girl and Shinobu. They realize aliens are destroying the town and decide, yeah, we gotta kill them.
Start the game.
Alrighty, this is a good intro. We get a villain setup and a good introduction to Travis and company.
Also, throughout the tutorial, we see Sylvia giving us a brief rundown of the entire game, which is just footage stolen from one of the trailers. And after the tutorial, we see Dr. Juvenile working with Travis and company and learn that Dr. Naomi is now living as a tree so she can live forever. This was confirmed by Suda, that is not me making a joke. Also, Gene the cat talks and he has a really deep voice.
Are you tweaking? This is how I've always sounded.
That's pretty badass.
Come on, man. Don't underestimate my prowess in battle. I'm right up there with Pick.
Although despite the fact he claims he is Pick, he acts more like from Z.
So after reenacting a scene from Alien, Travis meets Mr. Black Hole, who tells him he has to take over the planet on the orders of Fu.
Keep in mind, Travis hasn't met Fu yet, but he still thinks this guy is an annoying pain just for destroying part of his town. Honestly, I don't blame him.
Mr. Black Hole is a pretty interesting boss. He can be hard if you don't know what you are doing, but once you get the hang of it, he makes for a pretty good boss. However, he has a second phase where you fight him in space with the mech suit, but first you gotta go for this bullshit maze mechanic. I know you can just follow Gene in the first two parts, but this was kind of a waste of time. Just take me to the battle! After the battle, Black Hole reveals that he was actually collecting data on Travis for Fu, and Travis just like, okay, and... After killing Black Hole, Travis learned that this whole alien invasion was all just a part of the Galactic Superhero Rankings, which was set up between Fu and the United Assassin Association, which is still around for some reason. Also, Sylvia has flying powers for some reason. Suda has never given a valid reason for this. Also, Sylvia promises that if Travis fights all the ranks, he gets... Seems reasonable. Also, Travis wants to talk to Sylvia about something. Is it his kids, his marriage, a family vacation?
It's never elaborated. Besides, I kind of thought they already re-established their relationship in the Travis Strikes Again Bubblegum Fatale DLC.
Meanwhile, Fu is chatting up with Damon and completely takes over his company, relegating Damon to secretary. He then unveils that his plan is to take over the world via a ranking system. He even adds that this is what he wanted ever since he met Damon as a kid, who even shows his power to the public by throwing nukes at Russia, along with probably other parts of the world too, and he also kills the president.
This is really tense. He's essentially establishing himself as the big and powerful threat that the whole army couldn't defeat.
Fu even decides to pay Travis a little visit for killing Mr. Black Hole just to take a look at his opponent.
We had our own Miike night over here. Thanks to that, I came to the conclusion that
The Netflix Death Note movie
deserves to be reevaluated.
Oh, I didn't make that up. He actually said that. That's in the game. It's real.
Travis decides to end the game early and kill Fu on his own. However, he is interrupted by Shinobu, and then Fu proceeds to show off some of his power by severely injuring Shinobu, injuring Travis, killing Bad Man from Travis Strikes Again, and traumatizing Bad Girl. Kinda funny how Travis took Shinobu's arm in the first game, but in this game, Shinobu gets both arms taken by Fu.
This cutscene is intense. Not only do you see him mercilessly take out everyone, but it gets you pumped wanting to fight the final boss. Hell, if I streamed the game on Twitch or YouTube Gaming or whatever, I would have probably had a reaction like this. Oh snap, here we go! Ah dang, that was like right now! Uh-oh, oh snap. Oh. Oh. Oh, Travis? No! Oh! Oh my god! That's so brutal! Oh, and he just puts his head back? Oh. Hey, bad man. Oh, oh, how? Oh. Oh no. Bad girl. Oh, bad girl. It ain't all fun and games though, because as cool as it was to see Fu massacre most of Travis's crew, it felt cheap and it sidelined the characters they advertised.
But Anthem, this game is about Travis, it's not about the side characters. And you would be correct. But let me tell you something. They kept revealing more and more information over the course of time before release. We got to see characters like Bad Man, Bad Girl, Shinobu, Kimmy from No More Heroes 2, and some other peeps. So you think of them kind of showing them off, you think they'd be a bigger part in the game, but they aren't. Shinobu is just reduced to a coma, Bad Girl's traumatized in her room, and some characters are only minor appearances. As for why Bad Girl and Shinobu are in this game in the first place, they served so Travis can talk about his favorite media. Yeah, prepare to hear a lot about Suda51's favorite things. I forgot to add that.
But I digress. Keep some things a surprise and other things a reveal. I'm not saying Bad Girl and Shinobu should not be sidelined when advertising, but there is definitely some stuff that should have been kept a secret till release.
When each new chapter begins, you get introduced to the new boss that you have to prepare to fight. It's also worth noting that after getting the cash for every boss fight, you get these cutscenes of Fu chatting it up with the bosses you're about to fight, usually about their history and relationship with Fu. It's really interesting.
These little balls, they kind of grow on you.
And similar to No More Heroes 1, Sylvia calls you before every battle. We even see Damon and Fu's relationship slowly fall apart over the course of the game, despite them being good pals. They get a lot more hostile and unfriendly toward each other in each new scene. It makes you wonder if Fu will snap at Damon and kill him somehow. And after the retro anime intro of each chapter, you get to see an episode of Travis and Bishop's podcast on critically acclaimed Japanese director Takashi Miike. The next fight is Gold Joe. He makes a good appearance, but man does he really exaggerate his disbelief remarks when Travis figures him out.
Damn! Snap, crackle, and dot! Damn!
Travis doesn't really come off as surprised.
You know, come to think of it, Travis is only surprised by maybe 3 bosses.
But enough about intros, how's the fight itself? It's fine, but man, it's hard on higher difficulties.
Gold Joe is a perfect example of how you shouldn't just endlessly mash at the boss, cause I died to some of his attacks that I didn't know could knock you over. Hell, even his magnet mechanic is pretty cool once you get the hang of it.
Overall, good boss fight, but man, I kinda suck at it.
Our next fight is Black Knight Direction. We fight him in the Osaka Thunderdome. We learn that he teleports and once had a memory about the sea during a conversation with Fu. Travis and Jean meet their opponent and Black Knight Direction dies.
Oh boy, fight over, except I was really looking forward to this boss battle because of how well these fights are built up.
But hold the phones and eat 'em! We meet this ninja-like guy, I'm hesitant to call him a samurai, with a robot head / mask, and he comes—
Don't bother. Once we do battle, I'll know all I need to know.
What the hell, Travis? Now we'll never know who this guy is or why he just shows up out of nowhere!
Anyways, after losing to Travis in a clash, he clones himself into 3 clones and gives you the remaining 3 Death Glove abilities. Would have been helpful earlier, but okay.
Also, why does he keep calling me Grandpa?
So the rumors are true. And just who'd you hear these rumors from?
My thoughts exactly, Travis.
Native Dancer is fun to fight, but he was kinda the easiest boss in my opinion, probably because I had armor mode and standby earlier, which totally cheesed the whole fight in my favor.
Want to make a boss fight easier? Just have armor mode equipped from a previous fight and save it till you get to a boss.
After beating Native Dancer, Travis tries to finish him off, but his katana doesn't budge. Sylvia then proceeds to question why Travis would spare the life of an assassin, even though Travis was probably about to bring up something maybe relating to Shinobu and Ryuji. You know, because he spared them from the last game, except Ryuji because, you know, he got killed by Sylvia afterwards.
The reason
Is what?
a secret.
Alright then, keep your secrets.
Our next opponent is Vanishing Point, and I gotta say, this guy looks really badass. I love his design. I can't wait to see what he's like. I should note at this point, in between doing designated matches in the overworld, we get a visual novel text adventure of Damon talking to a mysterious man, asking about his memories and real self. After a cutscene showing Fu's interaction with Vanishing Point, we cut to Travis and Bishop hanging out when Travis gets a letter that contains a ticket to a concert for a singer called Kimmy Love, better known as Kimmy Howell.
I know who that is! Fun fact, Taylor Swift is canon in the No More Heroes universe.
Recently they say she's even bigger than Taylor.
It's probably not confirmed, but I like to believe it is.
Travis is convinced to go to the concert via Sylvia telling him that Vanishing Point will be there. We go to Kimmy's concert, and Vanishing Point just happens to be dancing as a background dancer. And then he gets killed by Kimmy Howell.
I'm just gonna go out and say it, this bait and switch is gonna happen very frequently in the game. Like, sure, it was present in No More Heroes 1 for like one boss, but here they really love pulling it off. Like, when Kimmy's art for No More Heroes 3 got shown online before the game's release, I thought she'd be like a secret or optional boss like she was in No More Heroes 2, but she's a mainstay, and that frankly does not surprise me. But you know what was a pleasant surprise? A rap battle between Travis and Kimmy!
I've been waiting for this! All by myself, crying in bed. I've grown tough. I'm not dead. The tears crystallize. The days get rough, making me stronger, strong enough. I changed my makeup, but looks won't last. It's time to wake up and kill the past.
I remember now all the attacks, slashing and crash, always knocking me back. Some of the time stalking, in darkness, walking, the hits and the rips, making mistakes. Now I'm in hell with my head on a stick. Excited in new ways for these fresh new days. You changed my world, girl, with your gaze. Renewed and mysterious, fragrant and delirious. Little girl, lost for days. Swore to grow up and get out of this maze.
I swore to get out, to forget all about that powerbomb. When you dropped me on my head, making me walk again.
That powerbomb was your christening. Couldn't hear me before, but now you're listening.
This is just plain awesome. Not only is this rap portion funky, groovy, and even the lyrics, while being goofy roast against the characters, also express their feelings toward each other. They even reference a reoccurring theme in Suda's work known as Kill the Past.
For the uninformed, I'll give you the super duper short brief Cliff's Notes summary of Kill the Past. Essentially, it is a theme of the characters destroying parts of their past holding them down from moving forward in the future. There are several motifs to this, such as assassins and the meaninglessness of death.
So what about the fight itself? I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought she was okay. Pretty difficult if I'm being honest. I'll admit I did have some screw-ups when fighting her as well, but I really didn't like the stage hazard she throws at you during this fight. Also, what the hell is with this camera angle at the climax of the fight? It's very distracting and it makes it feel like a Devil May Cry 1 boss fight. And it made the fight more difficult than it was before. Hard fight, but overall okay. Not my favorite.
After killing Kimmy, Travis has a word with Sylvia about how he is not satisfied with killing Kimmy and that he is only in this to kill aliens. Sylvia then disses the superhero genre of films and tells Travis that at heart he is an assassin and that killing should come naturally to him like a chore. This scene I thought was pretty cool, especially after seeing how before the final blow to Kimmy,
Get your brain out of the gutter.
he showed respect to her as an opponent who matured despite the background of stuffed animals. Our next fight is Velvet Chair Girl, who does not appear in the opening cutscene, but we still get a good Miike podcast episode.
So any old hardcore maniac can make a movie then. All you need to do is love the originals, right?
I should also note that there are side story missions which are presented in visual novel form and are just essentially fetch quests. I only really liked 2 of them, but the only one really worth it is the one that gets you the Gachapon room. Also, you get occasional visual novel segments where Damon talks to a mysterious man, possibly asking for a hit job on Travis. Now back to the main game. After grinding for cash and getting distracted by the world map and the Gachapon room, it's time to fight Velvet Chair Girl. We enter an overly decorated room only to be blown away by, well, I'm just gonna show you.
Today's main event, the Galactic title match, is about to begin.
Please welcome the Galactic Champion, Velvet Chair Girl.
What the hell is this?
Looks like Las Vegas.
You know, I actually kind of like this stuff.
I'm with Travis on this one, and it gets better.
You play musical chairs to a really catchy song. The more you press the buttons in time with the metronome, the better you have a chance at catching the final seat. Mess up and you go back to being slow, and try to recover what little speed you have. Your speed is indicated by your feet catching on fire. Is this Fire Force? If you don't get a seat, you get blasted by Oma the octopus, which results in instant death. You'll even see the full-face enemies mess up at times, which you'll most likely miss if you are really concentrated on hitting those buttons at the right time. I know I was.
I really love this section just for how out of left field it is. It doesn't feel cheap, and it's just kind of fun too. But wait, there's more!
After winning musical chairs, Velvet Chair Girl commits suicide out of shame of losing, but this sends Oma and causes him to grow big and fight Travis himself. Honestly, this is a pretty cool boss battle. Sure, it's pretty simple, but it gets really tense as Oma only has a one-hit kill laser, and you have to make sure you don't mash too quickly or otherwise you might get caught in the laser. Hell, it really keeps you on your toes as you don't want to take too much time mashing or go too fast to run to the laser. Tip for the boss, use the Death Belt Shower when you can, along with the slowdown ability to help you beat the boss. It's a simple but sweet fight.
It's also worth noting that Oma's battle theme is literally titled Octopus.
Our next opponent is Midori Kawa, whom does not appear in the intro cutscene. Meanwhile, Damon has yet another conversation with the mysterious man. Also, Midori pisses off Fu, and we learn Midori has a boyfriend with powers. So after deciding what Travis will wear for the occasion, I headed up to Midori's fight, where we learned that the UAA doesn't know much about her, so she is a mysterious girl of some sort. Although the underworld thing might mean her powers are paranormal or something because of the sudden teleportation, the Japanese school at night, and her entire level. Oh, and she really acts like some kind of teenage angsty nerd girl you see who frequents Hot Topic. I like her design and character.
Okay, are we all ready to go? Start the game.
Hey, that's Travis's line!
Now the game becomes a first-person walking simulator / haunted house simulator, occasionally broken up by fights when in the classrooms.
I gotta say, I really love this section. It's well crafted, the atmosphere is dark and broadening, and I jumped a couple of times as well. Also, there is a bathroom save point in this level if you feel like you need to go back and get some sushi, or would just rather do the boss fight later.
Eventually, Travis meets up with Midori, and they go to
This is that rock quarry in Ibaraki that they used to film those tokusatsu shows, isn't it? Awesome! I can't believe I'm here. This is where they filmed Kamen Rider Zeo, you know?
Thank you, Travis. Also, Midori has these talking hands that have their own personality and such. I have yet to read her spin-off manga at the time of writing this, so maybe that might have an explanation. Also, Travis gets a new armor form, and you fight the boss with this Fang on all time. Midori's fight, while neat, kind of feels more like a test drive for the new armor mode, and I feel like I had not made some mistakes when fighting the boss, it might have been a little too easy. But her theme song kicks ass, that's for sure. Decent boss battle overall. So after cutting off both of Midori's hands and about to land a finishing blow, this guy steps in.
Who the hell are you?
Trav! It's me!
Kamui, is that you?
Not this one!
This is Kamui Urihara. He is a character who Travis met in Travis Strikes Again, but this is him in a different form, but he originated in the Silver Case under a different form / moniker.
I'm not gonna touch on this guy too much. I have not played the Silver Case or the 25th Ward yet, so for the time being, we'll just say he happens to be a good friend of Travis. Also, he is Midori's boyfriend.
So then, what do you all think about this?
This is freaking weird. Our next boss is Sniping Lee, the galaxy's best sniper, and Kamui makes a cameo on the Takashi Miike podcast.
Okay then, how about the Girls X Heroine series?
Travis, no! You're not supposed to pronounce the X in anything with the X in the title, especially Japanese anime or media or whatever. It's supposed to be silent. I can't believe you do this. You're not a real weeb. No, Travis, why?
So after doing the usual jobs in battles and seeing Sniping Lee eat with Fu, it's time to fight Lee at Call of Battle. After looking at my low-res gacha collection, of course, we head to Call of Battle and uh-oh.
We're being targeted. It's the next ranked assassin.
You hear me, Travis? You got 1 minute left to live. That red mark don't lie.
Travis is gonna die, and he says some ominous things. And then this happens. Notorious, a character from Travis Strikes Again, but originally from the Fire Pro Wrestling series of games written by Suda, man that was a mouthful to say, saves us.
I just want to point out real quick, and I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but this game makes a lot of callbacks to Travis Strikes Again. Not only do we have the Death Glove, but also story elements. I do remember some story elements, but not everything from Travis Strikes Again. Kamui and Notorious, I don't remember that much.
Eventually, Sylvia comes in with laser eyes and summons someone else to do battle with now that Lee is dead.
Something weird is coming.
Who is it now?
Switching to blue movie. All power systems functioning.
This silhouette.
It's been a while. Travis touchdown.
Holy shit, it's Destroy Man, but I'm not that surprised since it felt like it was supposed to be a surprise. It feels more like a blatant bait and switch, like Black Knight Direction and Vanishing Point. Not to mention they literally mentioned this before the game came out.
We fight some Destroy Man clones, and we find their lair where they are all coming from, and the real Destroy Man shows himself, creating an army of mass-produced factory-line superheroes. I wonder if this is a commentary on some form of media. Destroy Man's fight is pretty neat. It's a lot tougher than his first appearance, but more fun and fair. He has some upgrade powers and a second phase. I did screw up in some of the footage, but I've gotten better lately. Overall, a good fight. After the fight, we get a Rocky tribute with Travis and Notorious, and we get a conclusion to Damon's meeting with the Mystery Man.
Well, okay.
Our next fight is Sonic Juice, who is training, making him absent in the intro cutscene. Boo gets angry and takes out his anger on the second-ranked assassin wanting to fight Travis now. Also, Charlotte makes an appearance on the Miike podcast to talk about anime, but then goes back to sulking in her room afterwards. After that, I decided to put Travis in his racism hoodie because it's stylish and delivers a great message, and go on my way to fight Sonic Juice. When we get there, he has a long-ass time walking to Travis and breaks the fourth wall in a joke that doesn't feel that funny, to be honest. The rest of the conversation is actually pretty nice. Sonic Juice says he doesn't necessarily agree with Fu and that he does have some faith in humanity. After that, the battle commences and he turns it into a turn-based RPG. It's fine, but my dumb butt didn't even bother trying to hit any of the text boxes because I didn't think to try that as an option, so I was stuck for quite a bit of time. Eventually, Travis gets tired of everything and goes back to a traditional No More Heroes fight. Sonic Juice is yet another cool boss fight. He is essentially a giant boss, only staying in one place while he chip off damage, and each phase he has a new set of attacks. Granted, your force power will be very useless in this fight, and his battle song is just an instrumental version of Orca Force, which is a really badass song. I very much enjoyed his actual fight. It's great.
I would just call him Sonic for short, but people would think I'm referring to the blue hedgehog, even as a joke.
After the fight, Sonic Juice surrenders for peace, calling the fight off. Don't worry, he still take off his health, he just says he is done. However, Fu shows up and kills Sonic Juice despite being friends.
Wasn't that your friend?
Ah, I've forgotten about all that old stuff.
Yeesh, cold.
Travis and Fu are about to fight, but Sylvie interrupts them saying this goes against the rules and Travis is now ranked number 2. Also, Travis still wants to talk to Sylvie about something which never ever gets brought up again and is never ever resolved. After the mock episode ending, we do not get an intro with Fu, we jump straight into the anime intro and an episode of the Miike podcast.
I felt a bad chill. I haven't even started over your dead body yet. I'm gonna go outside real quick.
But first, I'll change clothes and dick around for a bit. Oh, it's foggy. I can't really see much of what's outside. We receive a weird email from a strange party called the Order of the Emerald Knights saying to meet up in the motel parking lot. I wonder what that could be.
I know what that is! They established that in the Bubblegum Fatale DLC in Travis Strikes Again.
Little brother.
You came.
What do you know? It's Henry Cooldown, but he lost his Irish accent, got recast, and as established in Travis Strikes Again, joined a cult-like organization and based his whole personality around the movie Thor, and believes he is Thor and Travis is Loki. Yes, that is canon. Also, he was that mysterious individual who Damon contacted to kill Travis throughout the course of No More Heroes 3, but some have theorized it's not Henry, but going by how eerily similar the mysterious man looks to Henry, it most likely is Henry, I guess? As if that wasn't crazy enough, Henry literally tells both Travis and somewhat the viewer that everything we knew about No More Heroes lore was slightly wrong and that Travis' family origins go back to this. Essentially, Travis, Jean, and Henry were all blood-related siblings who had an abusive serial killer father, which the siblings tried to escape from in a snowy night. Travis, Jean, and Henry were separated by some adults who picked them up on the road, erased Henry's and potentially the other siblings' memory, but yet still somehow knew they were related, and makes me wonder if the backstory for Travis and Jean that was established in No More Heroes 1 was even real. How does Travis react to this?
So fucking what? This is something you gotta bring up right here, right now? You really turned out fucked up, you know that?
Huh, okay. He just kind of passes this off as a minor annoyance. He's got other problems to worry about. I dig it, kind of relates to Kill the Past somewhat, as Travis is trying to focus on the current goal while Henry is stuck in his miserable past. So Travis and Henry fight, and I gotta say, Henry's a pretty tough boss like he was in No More Heroes 1. I'm not too fond of the footage because I kept relying too much on dodge attacks, which only made the fight more tougher, but I still got some dark step attacks, which was really neat. He has new attacks for each phase, but I did overpower him with a green armor suit that I had saved up, which nearly took off half of his health. Man, I'm such a cheat. But I did replay Henry's fight, and trust me, it's a lot more fun and tense without the armor. After fighting Henry, it is revealed he is too spiteful to die after getting cut in half. He mocks Travis not to cry like he did when he was a young child, and then Travis proceeds to put Henry out of his misery. According to my armchair analysis, I think he feels some sort of remorse for Henry. Hell, he even says to Sylvia that killing him felt refreshing, almost like the cold-blooded killer in him never left. Well, time to go to the final fight, and wait, Henry's alive? Or is it a ghost? After the obligatory outro, we get to save and then it glitches.
What? Is this a bug? Seriously? You're just gonna bug out here. This shit is gonna get recalled. Wait, this is no bug.
Bro, did Travis just pull his pants up that fast?
You assholes! Are you Henry's buddies? You dirty fucking cosplayers!
Henry and his goons murder Travis on the toilet, and we play Deathman, a decent beat 'em up with weird hit detection. Eventually, we beat the final boss of Deathman, and we get a pixelated cutscene of Travis having wine with Deathman. He just has a glass of wine with Deathman and gets decapitated back to the real world, just like the ending cutscene to Travis Strikes Again. He gets resurrected in a closed stone coffin and is then rescued by none other than Takashi Miike himself.
No way. For reals? You're...
My name is Miike.
Fun fact, Suda has confirmed in an interview that Travis gained the ability to resurrect because of the death drive.
After Travis geeks out in front of Takashi Miike and requesting him to make a live-action No More Heroes movie, which, by the way, personally I would love to make if I ever made it big in the film industry, we get a Rocky montage and one last episode of the Takashi Miike podcast featuring Shinobu. The last moment of Fu's intro is him having one last talk with Damon, Fu excited to fight Travis and telling him that all of this happened because Damon wants Travis dead. All Damon can do is just berate both parties. Oh, and apparently the side story of Damon meeting up with Henry was probably not Henry because him killing himself on the road was part of a ritual which gives Damon a device that hopefully may not be relevant or something. The story just became confusing now. Is the mysterious man from another game or something? I don't know. After some overworld shenanigans, it's time to fight Fu. We head to Damon Tower, fight some goons in a green mech suit power-up, and meet the big man himself. As Travis meets Fu yet again, he taunts Fu by calling him a spoiled prince and a coward. Fu gets incredibly angry and becomes some kind of a beast with a lot of eyes. Fu is a pretty neat boss fight. You can only attack him when his eyes are not exposed, which happens after he attacks. Essentially traditional No More Heroes boss fighting. He has 3 phases, of each new one showing off new attacks. However, with the right usage of Death Glove chips and not getting hit too much, you can beat this boss pretty easily. I maybe died once on my first playthrough, but that's about it. However, he ain't done yet though, because he has a second form you have to fight. He turns into a giant tent and attacks with giant hands. I really did not like this part of the fight because his hands have a weird collision detection, and it takes so friggin' long to chop off his health. I hope you save the lost sushi that increases your attacks. After defeating a phase of his second form, returning characters from the story come in to deliver a big blow to Fu.
Okay, looks like we're square now.
champ! Grandpa!
Master! He's wide open! Now's your chance!
Eventually you defeat Fu, and he goes back to baby mode, making a retreat.
Fu leaving. Fu go home.
Before Fu could leave the planet, Damon kills Fu, bringing their entire friendship to an end. Also, he has powers either from Fu or the mysterious man, I don't know.
So that was the story to No More Heroes 3.
Wait, there's more! Turns out, it was all part of Damon's plan. Damon wanted to kill Travis because he hit him in Travis Strikes Again, which Travis hit Damon because he abused Juvenile. He turns Damon Tower into a giant robot and Travis falls to his doom. Why he just doesn't go mech mode is a mystery to me.
Hey, that Glastonbury thing. Call it.
That's been decommissioned. Too much dark matter. It deteriorated.
And no, the Glastonbury giant robot from No More Heroes 2 and the No More Heroes 3 Kamen Rider inspired mech armor are two different things. So the No More Heroes 3 armor could be summoned here, but this happens instead.
Wait a moment. The death gauge is going off. It is transferring something over from another dimension. Here it comes. Any second.
From another dimension, according to the game, appears a mech robot from Daemon X Machina.
The mech from Daemon X Machina? From the Japanese publisher Marvelous?
Saved by the power of product placement.
So we get a quick time event with some credits, and in the final blow, Travis stabs Damon out of his robot with his katana, and they all end up on the edge of space, according to Damon.
Looks like this is the final stop. We'll settle this with sumo.
Sumo? Like Japanese sumo wrestling?
Yeah, real men settle shit with sumo.
And by sumo, I mean fight in real life Super Smash Bros. First to 99% loses.
Yup, Travis could not get into Smash, so Suda literally went...
Fine. I'll do it myself.
What's even more interesting is that Suda actually got the approval of both Nintendo and Masahiro Sakurai. Even in Suda's own words, or possibly a mistranslation, Sakurai laughed his ass off at the final boss battle.
But how is the final battle? Honestly, it's not my favorite. You were just fighting him on a 2D plane and have a different health HUD graphic. Damon does have some interesting attacks, but his battle theme song kinda sucks, and the whole fight feels like it was just there to parody Smash Brothers.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
I've still got somewhere to go home to. But you don't!
I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
So Travis becomes the #1 ranked assassin yet again, and we get a really cool credits roll. It showcases every major character and boss that has ever appeared in the series, really making it feel like the finale to No More Heroes as a whole.
So that was the story of the No More Heroes 3. It's not the strongest story.
Wait, there's more.
Really?
Yes, really. We see a funeral for Badman where they spread his ashes in the ocean. Batgirl says some thoughtful words, everyone tosses their flowers, and the real credits begin. During the credits, we get the final version of Night of Prague, and then after the credits, another after-credits scene plays that is completely animated in 2D nonetheless. Fu's dad, Jess Baptiste V, comes to Earth to negotiate a peace accord instead of conquering it. After Travis tells him he is not a representative of Earth, Fu's dad decides to take the planet by force, only to be killed by...
Dad, it's me.
Have you forgotten what your own kids look like? What a shitty dad.
Hunter and Jean. Is that you?
Who? Master's children. The twins. The twins. The twins.
So that means Travis banging Sylvia the first time was safe sex.
The siblings explain that they need Travis's help to kill Henry because he teamed up with aliens to conquer the world and they came from the future.
Oh, snap!
Also, Native Dancer is Travis's grandson who came from the future earlier than Hunter and Jean.
Hold up. This is like the actual final for real's ending?
I am just as baffled as Travis. Suda did say that this was the last game in the series and it ends on a cliffhanger / teaser for another game. I know the first game kinda did it, but it felt more like an homage to a Rocky movie or something. Here, it's just a tease for another potential game, but then again, Suda did say that there might be a sequel depending on Marvel's decision and if the fans want more. I have my own thoughts on this, but I'll explain later, and I don't know, man. Is there any more after this?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. So that was the story to No More Heroes 3. It's not the strongest story or the best No More Heroes story. I know No More Heroes was never really a deep or complex emotional story, despite some of Suda's other work being complex story-wise, but No More Heroes 3 really went off the rails compared to other entries in the series.
The whole thing feels more like an homage to pop culture that inspired Suda, which is not a bad thing, he does this a lot, but there doesn't really feel like a lot of story going on here. It's probably the most wacky of the series, and it feels like it wants to parody a superhero show.
Like I said before, I wasn't expecting a full-on deep and complex story, but the story overall was just, okay I guess. But it was still nice to go on another adventure of Travis regardless.
Why do I like No More Heroes? Why do I hold this series in such high regards? I talked about how punk rocky the aesthetic is, I talked about how unique it is, but I never explained why I personally like this series. I mean, I like the gameplay, the graphics, the writing, the aesthetic, and the story. What makes it special? Well, if I were to put into words, No More Heroes is a game that feels very human, like it connects to me, and I have found meaning in the series. Travis to me, and maybe some other people, represents a man of dreams and struggles. He's trying to go about his life in hopes of achieving his dreams, like him becoming number one. He has a purpose for why he wants to do it, but along the way he almost forgets why. Like how in No More Heroes 1 he wants to be number one because it's the only way to avenge his parents. But in the sequels, he not fully understands why he's doing what he does. On the surface, Travis seems like a guy who has everything under control, but in some ways he is struggling, and it shows in No More Heroes 1, 2, and especially Travis Strikes Again. He definitely matures throughout the series, and despite this, still has a close connection with his hobbies, whether it be collecting weeb stuff or talking Nikke with his buddy Bishop. He also holds value in the people he meets around him, as if every encounter is something that sticks with him. In a way, I believe there is some Travis in all of us. Not fully, but definitely something to relate to. We are all trying to get by in the hopes of achieving something we want, while still keeping in touch with the things we like and the people we meet. And maybe within our desperate struggle for something greater, we find that bit of paradise we desire. Travis is not a perfect character at all. He's dorky, a bit full of himself, and sometimes a bit too cocky for his own good. But yet, I still see those good qualities I mentioned before in him that truly make him redeemable despite all of his flaws. The world around Travis has changed and evolved over the years, and yet he still keeps going even if he goes through some dark turmoil. He encounters people who try to assist him, people who could care less about him, people who want him dead, and people with stories and experiences to share. Travis may not remember all of them, but he does hold some close to him. In the first game, he meets his family he never knew he had, and a new friend. In the second game, he meets people who are moved by his actions from his previous adventure and the love of his life. In Travis Strikes Again, he meets various characters both in games and reality, and one of which he feels a deep connection to. That person being a programmer who was the best in their field, who moved people with her work, only to be abused by various people around her. Travis meets a person who tried to escape reality, only for it to bite them back, just like him. In No More Heroes 3, he meets what could have been another version of himself had he just become number one for the fame, glory, riches, and Sylvia's sex. It's an alternate version of himself if he had forgotten why he entered the assassin business in the first place. Each game is a crucial part in Travis's journey. And this to me is what No More Heroes as a series is. A journey of life, struggle, and encounters. Encounters with things that could serve a threat or assurance. Encounters with people with goals, experiences, and stories. Heck, even encounters with family. And it's all how we choose to face them, and how we deal with them, either sticking with us or disregarding them. We can wallow in isolation or get back up and face it. No More Heroes does feel like it's more about the journey than the destination. Even the side job minigames, which became a core part of No More Heroes, served a purpose in showing us that even if we do jobs that we may not like, we always have to put our best effort in for better things. Something that Suda51 has said himself, which I kinda did just paraphrase now. For me personally, I still got a long way to go in life. I haven't really done much, and the pandemic has certainly made me put everything on hold. In a way, I'm kinda like No More Heroes 1 Travis somewhat. Still stuck doing the job I don't like for money, I have a dream I have not yet achieved, and
and I'm still obsessed with dorky stuff. Hell, I hate to become Henry from No More Heroes 3. But there might come a time where I do step into the Garden of Madness and do something great. Maybe it might be for the channel, maybe it might be for something else. I may be in my 20s, but it feels like I got a long way to go. Could kick ass, could totally suck. Remember what I want and fight for. Remember the people I meet, and remember the experiences I have. This may be too overdramatic for a dumb video about a video game, but I hope that I gave some interesting insight on how I view the series and why it's so special to me. If I could put it up all in one sentence, it'd be this. When it feels like the world has no more heroes and all of paradise is gone, carve your own path and become a legend. So what are my overall thoughts on No More Heroes 3 as a game? It's good, not great, but a serviceable sequel to us fans. It feels like a one step forward, two steps back kind of deal, as I personally believe a whole lot could have been better. Like the graphics, a lot less cheap bait and switch stuff, and a bit of a better story since it is most likely the last game in the series. But still, the gameplay is great and stepped up in some areas, and the music is awesome. If I were to rate it out of 5, I'd give it a 3.
Now before I keep talking, I want to rank the series based from best to worst, or most enjoyed to least enjoyed, because, I don't know, I enjoyed all the games, but some more than others. Now, number 1 is obviously going to be the first game. Everything about it just kind of clicked right and naturally with me, despite some of the flaws. I'm still able to look past all of it and consider the first game an absolute masterpiece. So second place, now second and third place, it's gonna alternate a lot depending on the mood. So depending on what mood you catch me in, I'll say that maybe third place will be second place or second place will be third place, but second place is gonna go to No More Heroes 3. Yeah, I know I made an entire video just, criticizing it and nitpicking, but honestly, No More Heroes 3 had a whole lot of fun gameplay with it, to be honest. And now third place is going to go to Travis Strikes Again. Travis Strikes Again had a really strong story, gameplay-wise, and didn't really enjoy it as much as previous No More Heroes entries, but I still love the story. And in last place, I'm going to put No More Heroes 2. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good game, but honestly, compared to the rest of the series, I don't really see myself coming back to this one, or I still like things about it, but just compared to the rest of the series, I think it's the least enjoyed compared to the others. Going back to No More Heroes 3, it's clear Suda really wanted to do something much bigger with this game than what we got, but he couldn't due to budget reasons. And hey, remember when I said it's most likely the last game in the series? Well, Suda did say that there is a chance for Travis to come back, and if that happens, I really don't know what to expect. Maybe less cheap bait and switch, that's for sure, and keep the surprises surprises. Will I play it when it comes out? I don't know. Maybe something will happen that prevents me, but who knows? The future tends to unfold as it should. And that wraps everything up for this big ass video, or maybe it's a small video, who knows. I just wanted to say thank you all so much for watching and getting this far in the video. It really means a lot if you watch this, and if you enjoyed it, give it a like. It helps me know that people enjoy this kind of content. And until then, I hope to see you all in the next video.